Good afternoon, members of the media. Thank you for joining us. As indicated, or in keeping with what we've stated in the past, to keep you updated on the investigation into the situation that occurred at the Legends Bar. We're going to get a further update today from Detective Chief Inspector, are you Acting Superintendent? Yes. Detective Acting Superintendent, Mr. Jason Smith, on the ongoing investigation, again, as I mentioned, into that Legends matter. There was a significant development today, and he will provide us the details.
Good afternoon. You will recall that we reported out that on Thursday, the 1st of May, 2025, at approximately 10:30 p.m., Bermuda Police Service received several 911 calls that reported that there had been a shooting at the Legends Bar in Somerset. The officers who attended to that particular crime scene did confirm that, in fact, 5 people had been shot, and 2 of those 5 lost their lives. We reported that 3 of those who were shot and injured were taken to the hospital where they received medical treatment, and to date, all 3 have been released from the hospital, having been treated. Unfortunately, those 2 who lost their lives, one was interned on Friday, and tomorrow the second victim will be laid to rest. Since that investigation began, police inquiries were conducted and a full investigation team was set up to investigate those circumstances to bring those to justice who are responsible for the 2 deaths of Shaquan Williams and Jesmyn Smith and the 3 men that were injured. Over this weekend, as a result of a filed review, the Director of Public Prosecutions approved charges in relation to 1 of the 4 men in particular that's seen on the footage. That man appeared in Magistrate's Court this morning, where he was charged for a number of offenses ranging from 2 counts of murder to discharging of a firearm and to possession of a firearm with criminal intent. The charge of that man today is as a result of a combination of support from members of the public and for police officers, members of the Bermuda Police Service, who were actively involved in that investigation. We appreciate the support that the public has given, and that support has brought us to where we are today. Over the last couple of days, I personally have met with both victims' families, and I can tell you the grief and the pain that they are feeling, that they have had to go through. It is unbearable. No family should ever have to suffer such pain. We can say that the family is grateful to the community, to the Bermudian community, for their support that you've given us in this investigation. As I mentioned earlier, the footage that we showed had 4 men that we believe, 4 men who went into the Legends Bar and committed these heinous acts. We have charged 1, and there are 3 that are outstanding. So we are continuously making this appeal to you, members of our community, that can recognize any of the other 3, and in fact, recognize the man that has been charged. We're asking that you make contact with us so that we can have a conversation with you and that you may be able to assist us with this investigation. In total, there are 4 persons that have been arrested. There is 1 that is still outstanding, and the Bermuda Police Service is unwavering in our efforts to locate and bring that man to justice. We have mentioned earlier that we believe that man was injured, and so if there's any persons in this community that has been rendering first aid to this young man, potentially you could be charged. To the family of the young man who is outstanding, we encourage you to come forward to assist the police. The Commissioner mentioned not too long ago that as an organization, we also have a responsibility for this young man's health and for his safety. And so for those reasons, we are also encouraging you. The footage that we released a couple of weeks ago, which shows those 4 young men. And the purpose of that is to hopefully to remind you and to encourage you, members of the community, that if you can recognize those 4 men in that footage, to come and to assist us. Families are grieving. We do not need to suffer any further loss. And we thank you for your continued support. Thank you, and I'll take any questions that you might have.
Hi, good afternoon, Superintendent Smith. So you mentioned that 4 people were arrested. Do you have the ages of them at this time?
So the age, well, I would say that the ages of all 4 men range between the ages of 23 to 27 years of age.
Okay. There was also rumors spreading around the community that a female suspect may have been amongst those 4 individuals. Is there any chance of that based on your investigations?
So what I can tell you is that from the support we have so far and the line of inquiry, that leads us to believe that there was not a female, but that there were 4 men.
In terms of the information that members of the public are providing you, is this eyewitness account or this CCTV footage? In what way are they helping you?
So what we put out initially was the video footage that showed the 4 men, and so a lot of the assistance that we're getting from the public is in recognizing those persons who are in the footage. That's majority of what the support that we're getting. But equally, as you remember, and we continue to make this appeal to the public, that we ask for information from area residents in the Sands community who might have seen two bikes, 2 up, circling around the Somerset area before the actual shooting that took place. And so that's still important to us, and we still welcome the public support.
Okay. The folks that have been arrested that are not before the courts, are they still in police custody?
Arrested persons, there's a process that we go through, and so we've been through that process with them.
Thank you.
Can you assist the public on why the identity of these individuals was not put before the media?
So what we would say is that those individuals and the public who can recognize them, that's what we're asking for. When we start talking about releasing the names of individuals at this particular stage, it runs us into some legal problems. And so we meet and we have consultations on a regular basis with the Director of Public Prosecutions, where we seek advice. And at this stage, it just would not be in line with legal process to identify who they are. But I would say, and this is the message, those persons in our community who can recognize them from the footage, that's the most important part. That's the most important, that's the key evidence that we're looking for in this investigation. And so we continue to ask the public to view the footage, and we will release it again today, and that if you can recognize those persons, make contact with us.
You've spoken of assistance you've received from the public. Have you seen a turn in the tide from where the public is just about heading off of this madness?
Well, Trevor, I think that anytime there's loss of life, it touches the heart and the core of people. As police officers, yes, we have a function and a job to do, but it also touches us in our hearts because we want to bring justice to the community and to those families, because that's the most important thing. And so I would think that in this case, that the public wants to do the right thing, to assist the police, to help to bring closure to these families. And also, we all must live in this community. And so it is important that all of us do our part to assist the police, to bring to justice so that we can maintain law and order in our community. And I would like to think that in this case, as we're hoping for in future cases, because we do have other cases that are outstanding. So there are other families that are grieving, that want to be able to at least have some measure of closure that the families today have received. And so I would like to think, and I would like to encourage those members of our community, that where you have information, that you make contact with us, and that you allow us to conduct our investigations so that we can continue to maintain law and order.
My last question, with the holiday coming up and these individuals are on police bail, are there stipulations for these individuals? I don't know if you can divulge that information, and is the police on still heightened alert for retaliation incident?
What I would say is that the second question, the other question would be a question perhaps for the Commissioner's Office in terms of plans that are being put in place. But what I would say is that to those young men in the community who have been bailed, again, our lines of communication are always open. And so where you need assistance, please make contact with us, and where we can assist, we will.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Hi. Just one quick question. I'm not too good with numbers. So there's 4 people that we can see on the footage, and there have been 4 arrests, but there's 1 person still outstanding.
Yes.
Presumably, one of the people that's been arrested is just assisting with the investigation. Can you unpack that a little more? If you're not able to divulge, I understand, but...
Yeah. So what you often find in investigations is that, there are some people who may be the trigger person, who might have pulled the actual trigger. There are other persons who may have assisted in other ways. And so part of the line of inquiry, because we conduct these investigations and we have to be wide in our scopes, and so we look at all things. So even though 4 persons we can see from the footage might have went into the Legends bar, but there are other times that people play supporting roles. And so it is in that vein that we've made 4 arrests, and then there's still 1 that's outstanding.
And that 1 outstanding is believed to be this injured young man?
Yes.
I know. Thanks for that, sir. Cheers.
Sorry, just one last question. Can police definitively say that this is a gang-related incident?
I think that from our lines of inquiry that we are satisfied that this has some gang elements to it and gang affiliations, yes.
Any idea of which ones?
Well, I think from our intelligence, as has been happening over the course of the number of years, there's always these feuding between, sort of town and west rivalries and so forth and so forth. So our mind is open into exactly which line this is following. But what I would say to you is that this is where it's important for members of the community to have, or who has that information, to contact us. Because, as I said before, you are the ears and the eyes that see where we don't see. So where you have that information and you can help to bring some clarity, that's what we're looking for. That helps us.
One last question. Ports of entry, sea, airport, police monitoring those entry points?
Yes, so all lines of inquiry in regards to ensuring and safeguarding our borders has been taken into account. Yes, I would like to remind the public in closing that there is still a reward that is being offered by Crime Stoppers, and I would like to remind you that Crime Stoppers is anonymous, so it has nothing to do with the police. It's a community-based service, and they are making funds available, $5,000 reward for persons who have any information that can either lead to the identity of those persons who are responsible for these murders and these shootings, any information that might be able to give in on the location of the outstanding person that the police are looking for, and any information in regards to the investigation. So we will remind you that that reward is still available, and we continue to encourage you to make contact. Thank you.
Can you also, Mr. Smith, if you can, clarify that there is no link between the victims and gang activity in this matter?
Yes, so what we would say is that from the victim's perspective, and I think that's the key, that there's no intelligence or information that we have that links the victims being involved in any gang activity. I think that what we're saying is that what we're investigating is that the suspects have gang affiliations. And so we want to make that clear. Thank you very much.
Members of the media, if there aren't any further questions, or if you think of anything post-press conference, please feel free to email those queries to us and we'll have them addressed as expeditiously as possible. Again, thanks for your participation, and to members of the community, your continued support of these initiatives, these investigations, by contacting us using the 800-8477, which is the independent and confidential Crime Stoppers number, as well as the community reporting portal at portal.police.bm, and speaking with police officers whom you know. That evidence and that support has proven invaluable to the investigation thus far and the progress that we have made. So again, thank you for your continued support.
Around 12:30 a.m. on Sunday, May 18, 2025, police received a report of a single-vehicle road traffic collision on Watlington Road East, near the junction with Jackson Drive, Devonshire. Upon arrival, officers observed a motor car overturned, resting on its roof and blocking the roadway. There was no one inside the vehicle. Subsequent checks at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital confirmed that the motorcar driver, a 50-year-old female, had attended, seeking medical attention following this incident. She did not appear to have suffered any serious injuries. An investigation into this matter is now underway, and anyone with information is asked to contact Police Constable Asaph Rollins on 7117-2123 or via email rrollins@bps.bm. You may also call the main police number 295-0011, the non-emergency reporting number 211, or the Roads Policing Unit on 247-1788. The Bermuda Monetary Authority or BMA, has been made aware of a posting appearing on social media, including WhatsApp, in which someone claiming to be BMA Capital makes false claims about the authority. The authority notes that the fraudulent social media post falsely conflates the authority with BMA Capital, Bermuda Finance, Pakistan BMA, and BMA International Platform, and further falsely claims that the authority, in addition to being a financial regulator, is also the headquarters of this multinational financial conglomerate. Conducting business with unregulated entities carries increased risk for potential investors, particularly where the introduction has been made through fraudulent statements. Anyone who conducts business with such entities does so at their own risk. The Department of Culture has announced this year's Bermuda Day Grand Marshals, with Glenn Jones, Eugene O'Connor, Mackenzie Cole Tuckett, Selden Woolridge, and Coral Wells, all receiving the recognition. A government spokesperson said, "Today, the Department of Culture formally shared the Grand Marshals of this year's Bermuda Day Parade. This year's five Grand Marshals are being celebrated and recognized for their artistic, creative, and innovative contributions to our heritage and culture. They are Glenn Jones, Eugene O'Connor, Mackenzie Cole Tuckett, Selden Woolridge, and Coral Wells."
Bermuda Live on YouTube. Subscribe now.